Hey guys, so I'm just going to start right away. I am not going to wait for anybody to particularly jump on. I am just going to respond with sharing my heart concerning certain things because I see so much on my timeline. These past few days have been very different. Yeah, so I haven't wanted to jump on here and just say any old thing. I didn't want to jump on here and necessarily combat with certain level of emotion, or because that's not really, to me, that's not solution minded. It's not rational. So the reason that I'm coming on here is because I see so much on my timeline concerning officers, concerning friends of mine who are of African American descent. And what I want to say is, because I want to be sure that I cover everything that has been in my thoughts and on my heart. Last night as I was watching, and I really don't watch the news like that. I really stay away from it a lot because of all of the negativity. However, when I started to see that these protests and these different things were beginning to spread, and then I saw that it was coming, that they were talking about it coming to, first I know it was at 40 Foley Square. They started down there in Lower Manhattan, and that they were headed towards Brooklyn. My heart really began to, I really began to think on those people that I love so much, people that I've grown, that I call friends, some that I call family. And truly, I still have family that lives in the confines of Brooklyn, specifically Brooklyn North. And those people who know what I'm talking about, Brownsville, East New York, Crown Heights, Bed-Stuy, those surrounding areas, Bushwick. And I'm a girl that I'm from Brooklyn. I'm a Brooklyn native. I was born in Crown Heights and raised in between Brownsville and East New York. I moved a lot. I lived in several projects and several what we call tenement buildings. I'm from a people who, my grandparents came here from Puerto Rico and built a life and raised their children here and their grandchildren. And gosh, there's so many of us now. I'm from a people who, my uncle, I had two uncles years ago on the job, one in the Bronx and one in Brooklyn. And they believed in what they were doing in law enforcement. And so I am a retired NYPD detective. Yes, I am. I am a Latina who grew up in the heart of Brooklyn, North specifically. I am a mother. I am a grandmother. I am somebody who, while I was in the academy, was still living in the projects. I come from very humble beginnings, but we believed in order. We believed in we understood that there were certain disparities. I saw things growing up. I am somebody who, after a shift during my 4 to 12, when I worked in BedfordStuyvesant, because I did my career in Bed-Stuy, I came home to learn of an injustice that was handed to one of my brothers. And I had to go to the local precinct with my brother and my stepfather and go speak on that injustice. Me, an officer who just finished a shift on her 4 to 12. So there are things that on this side of that blue wall, like they call it, the blue wall, there are things that we understand. And we know that to be true. But please don't look at those officers out there as just blue. Please see past their uniforms and see the people that they are. If we want to talk about really seeing, understand that there are people out there. You got single moms out there. You have people, you got people, they have families. And they don't all stand for what happened to George Floyd. That was an absolute, let me say that was an absolute injustice. We don't all think that way. We don't all respond that way. So working in Bed-Stuy, really for all of my career, and let me say that I chose to stay there because I could have left. Many times there were things that I was offered and opportunities that came my way, but my heart was so much so for what we were doing there in Bedford-Stuyvesant. The changes that we saw, things that were implemented, things that were working. So I'm kind of coming at a lot of things. I'm coming from I'm looking through a different lens. And what I'm sharing is things that I've spoken to, friends. I get the calls. Oh, hey, what do you think about this incident? When you come from law enforcement, you're always going to get it. You're going to get it from friends. You're going to get it from family. People want to know, what do you think? What do you think as a Latina? And for my Hispanic people, we're not exempt from this whole thing, because everybody's talking about black and white. We're not exempt. Let me let people know we are here. And for those Latinos who think that that has nothing to do with me, oh, it has so much to do with us. Okay? So we have to understand, and I pray that for my Latinos who are watching, that you know your history, that you understand your culture, you understand where you came from. Okay? What it means to be whatever, Puerto Rican, Dominican, whatever your background. Okay, understand your roots and understand that it does have something to do with us. We are here and we have a voice. Okay, so no, I don't stand for injustice. No, but I also know that sitting on the other side of that, when I worked in Bed-Stuy, and I'm gonna say certain names, and I hope that they don't get me for this, because there's still people they're friends of mine and people that I love, but I'm gonna say this. The faces of change at the 81st Precinct in Brooklyn North were not all people of color, I'm trying to use correct terms. They were not all black people that stood up in those neighborhoods that were predominantly black and Hispanic, especially back in those days. Because I'm talking about, I became an officer, I went through the academy in 1992. I was already a mommy with a little boy, and I was still living in the hood, like we call it the hood, the projects. And yeah, my people questioned me, oh, why would you take a job like that? Well, and as far as the burning of the buildings and that type of, no, I don't stand for that either. And I'm making that loud and clear. I don't stand for destroying our neighborhoods. Absolutely not. Okay. Let me make that clear, because I believe that we need to be able to sit at the table when changes need to be implemented. We need to be sitting at the table, and so that means we have to be able to get in the building. If we can't get in the building, we can't sit at the table to talk about these things. We can't sit at the table to enforce changes. We can't sit there, okay, and implement our ideas, because we got something to say. And I come from a time, and I'm grateful that I am so grateful that I was an officer in the time that I became an officer, and I worked where I worked, and I worked with the amazing officers that I worked with in the 81st Precinct and in the Brooklyn North. Because the faces of change, they all look so different. And some of them, may they rest in peace, unfortunately, are no longer here with us. And man, if Sergeant Caggiano was here, he would say it. Because I remember getting kicked out, and I'm going to talk about some of our politicians, because, hey, I'm retired. And I'm going to make it clear. Some of those politicians, when they saw me, when they saw my Spanish face, and they saw my white partner's face, we got booted out of there. And if people get mad at me, you're free to comment. This is social media. This is my Facebook page, and I'm going to keep it real today, because my heart is hurting. We got kicked out of a certain politician's office because her words were, what can a Hispanic female and a white boy do for our black children? And our funds were pulled from us, okay, for our youth council, because we were not seen as people who can promote some type of change. But our children believed in us. Captain Muhammad at the time was a black captain, was the one who put me in position. Philip Banks was the one who put Brad in position as youth officers. And no, these weren't favors. Nobody called and said, oh, make her this. As a matter of fact, I told Captain Muhammad I didn't feel capable. I'm going to be clear. I didn't feel capable because I saw all of the amazing things that were going on. Because at the time I was doing truancy. But I did want to be a part of it. Because again, I was that girl. I was the girl from Brownsville, from East New York, from places where resources were so limited. We didn't have all of these special programs and fancy things going on. So to be a part of that for me was truly an honor. So shame on those politicians that right now have not been doing what they're supposed to do. Shame on people, because even after I retired, I was getting phone calls. Cindy, what's happening? My kids, my young people, because I called them my kids who now had kids, and said, what happened to the programs? What happened to the youth councils? What happened to CCAP, community, clergy, and police? What happened to the PAL, the cops and kids? What happened? So I'm saying shame on the politicians who decided that that they wanted to fix what wasn't broke, when they wanted to tie officers' hands who were willing to do the work, because that's what was happening towards the end of my time, and it was frustrating for me. So when I got asked if I wanted to go work in One Police Plaza, when I got asked if I wanted to go to the borough, I said no, because my heart was still in Bed-Stuy. My heart was still for doing the work. My heart was still for what they call staying in the trenches and doing what I really believed in. I still got family in Brownsville that I love, that I want to see stay safe. So when I saw what was going down last night, and when I was hearing things, my heart was so grieved. My pastor and his family, who live right in the confines of Bed-Stuy, and they were storming precincts. Who did that? Who did that? Destroying our own neighborhoods. Who's going to rebuild that? Where are the resources coming from, when I know for a fact that our funding and our resources were pulled from us? So what are we doing? So I say shame on politicians who are not standing up, who haven't been standing up, who have refused to sit at tables. I left in 2012, and even now I get calls. What happened, officer? I have my kids who still follow me on Facebook and on Instagram. I still get Mother's Day messages and happy birthdays. I still go to graduations and weddings, because we formed that type of bond. And when my white partner, Brad Hershaft, and I got surrounded on Malcolm X and Quincy trying to stop a girl from getting jumped, you know who came to our defense while my brothers and sisters in blue were on their way? The kids from the neighborhood. They were pulling people away from us, saying, nah, that's Officer Cindy and that's Officer Brad. They used to call him the bird. Because they knew, you know what? We saw them, we heard them, and we believed in them. We stood with them. I worked with some amazing people, those faces of change, Jennifer Whitney, Leslie Charles, Cruz Pearsall, these different people. We didn't see those things. We saw that we could make a difference. The community, we worked together. We worked together. We believed in what we were doing. So I don't take back my time in NYPD. I don't take back wearing that uniform. Because for me, that uniform represented that I was able, like I said, to get into the building and sit at the tables. So when my white partner got kicked out of a certain school by a certain principal who was very militant and didn't allow him to do his job to promote change, to help, and folks, I'm only going to apologize if it sounds like I'm angry. Because he got kicked out of there because I was on vacation and he wanted to go solve a problem when a kid got jumped so bad. And officers that are watching, you know the truth. You know the truth. He got kicked out of the building because he was told once again, oh, you're just here to lock up my black babies. Meanwhile, he told her, no, I'm here to help your black babies. She did not allow that help. So what I'm saying is, turn your receivers on, because the change that you might need might not come in the form that you're expecting it to come in. Because every black officer was not willing to do the work. To me, I'm like this: help is help. And we need to work together. And I refuse. My thing was what I'm seeing happen everywhere else. NYPD is not Minneapolis. It's not Atlanta. It's not LA. Every police department, every city, every county, it's run differently. And my heart was hurting for my people and praying that people that I love were not going to be hurt out there, because I know their hearts. And I know the times that we had to break barriers just to help people. So what am I saying? Shame on the politicians. I don't care what color they are, that are leading our youth to the slaughter. Our fight at that time was, let's find ways so that we don't have our young people don't get arrested. Let's have cops and kids basketball. Let's challenge them to do certain things. Hear them, talk to them. But NYPD decided one day that's not working when it was. So I'm saying, bring back those programs. Allow officers, we had what was called we used to say, yo, you got heart. And I'm talking about a fleshy heart that can love somebody in spite of whatever wrong. And the boldness and the courage to say, hey, that's not right. Because I know I did it. I know my partners did it. I can speak on Brooklyn North and what we did. Sergeant Caggiano, may he rest in peace, a Puerto Rican Italian from Brooklyn who worked his heart was for people. He didn't care about that. Certain white captains that we had that came through there that said, you guys got it, run with it. And we did it. Working for time. You think that we made all that? No, we worked for time. There were times when, okay, we're getting paid in time. Malik, may he rest in peace. He was another one that worked alongside with us, John King and these other people. Malik used to tell me, he used to call me Snow White, and I used to laugh because he said, you're just so nice. But he would always tell me, but I know there's a method to your madness. We worked together. We worked with the clergy. We went into the schools, and the schools let us in because they saw our hearts. Please stop leading our youth to the slaughter, politicians. These activists and these militants who really just have a certain agenda. I'm not on this live for popularity. I'm not on here selling you anything. I'm not on here I'm really upset because I'm seeing things destroyed. Years of things that were built. So my thing is, so where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? I'm so annoyed because we worked together with the Board of Ed, Jeff Horn. Tony Herbert was a face we saw all the time coming through. Terry Coxum from the DA's office. All of these alliances that were formed. Our schools. I see Addie's on there, man. 309, they used to let us in there all the time. Ricky Van Brackle and these other female officers who were willing to help us with our young ladies group. Things that we just did. This wasn't on the NYPD agenda. We had the heart to do it. So I'm saying, NYPD, you have a responsibility. We have to come up out of this. Politicians, you have a responsibility. And I say that the residents, you have a response. Parents, you have a responsibility. Show up to community council meetings. I don't know if they do that anymore. But there were times that we would beg people, go out to your kids' schools. Take a stand for what is right. Don't come out just to come and destroy something. Come out when they're saying you have a voice. Come out to hear what different people are talking about. Man, we put so much sweat and tears into what was built. Stuff that was handed to me. Ray Salgado, may he rest in peace. Abe Simmons. These different people. Al Blackwell. We worked with the community councils. Yeah, we are a community of people, and at some point we stopped seeing it that way. And I'm angry. Yeah, as a woman of God, I'm angry. Yes, I'm angry. I'm angry that man was killed. I'm angry that people feel that when they see an officer, you're mad at the police. Listen, as a young girl in Brooklyn, I got robbed by a young black male. I wasn't mad at all black males. It didn't change my perspective. I knew the truth. That was an individual who committed a crime against me. What I'm saying is we got to move forward. And I am begging the powers that be, find ways to promote true change, because those bridges that were built years ago, somehow it seems like they've been dismantled. And I'm here to say that those things worked. I'm here to say that when we worked with our seniors, the work that was put in, it was our youth that would help us the night before when we were serving our seniors to do all of those things. And they came on the strength of us, because to them, our word was bond. They believed that we had their backs. I didn't come just from nowhere. I know people see certain things that I'm doing. Now, I'm a girl that my whole life was Brooklyn. I went to high school in Brooklyn. So I'm upset. NYPD, you decided to fix something that wasn't broke. It wasn't broke because certain people had certain ideas that what we were doing was just cute. No, it was working. Kids, we were keeping kids out of jail. I got young people now who are doing some amazing things. And I'm not saying that it was just all me. No, it was a community of people who came together, officers and civilians and clergy and all of these people who banded together. And when stuff went down in that hood, we sat at the table. Whether we agreed, disagreed, whatever it was, we sat at the table. Teach our people, educate them, empower them, okay? Show them that with rights come responsibilities. That's what I'm saying. Because honestly, I felt so helpless sitting in my house watching this. It's chaos, and that's not what it was about. So I'm saying that a lot of people are holding the bag right now, and we got to come up out of this. Out of these ashes has to come some real change. That's what I'm saying. May we receive beauty for ashes. I'm praying that people really see. Really see. Please don't keep leading these youth to the slaughter. Please stop giving people bad information. People, please stop seeing officers as everybody's evil, everybody's trying to hurt you, everybody's trying to kill you, because that's absolutely not true. Absolutely not true, no matter what color they are. Because I have known some amazing officers, white officers, who will put their lives out there for people, truly from the heart. Officers who worked with us. So please see past that color, that blue. Just the same way that I want people to see more than a Latina when they look at me. Just see me as a woman. Just see me, can we just have this level of humanity that when I see you, I see a person, I see a human being. Can we do that so that true change can happen? That's what I'm asking for. My brothers and sisters in blue are not, and yeah, a lot of them are my brothers and sisters. I've known some of these people over 20 years. So yeah, I'm saying that. I stand on the side of what's right. I stand on the side of justice. I stand on the side of righteousness. I stand on the side of what's pure and what's true. Because when I was on the job, if a cop was out of order, you don't got to stay on my job. And there were times when you had your little spats with people, like I don't appreciate how you operate. Period. Okay? Yeah. I looked in the eyes of people and said, let me help you. Because if something seemed a little funny or something was about to happen, there were a lot of us who were willing to say, yo, I got this. So let's be responsible as well when we're standing on the side of law enforcement. Again, I say that with rights, there are responsibilities. Don't leave our kids just holding the bag, our young people and people just walking in ignorance. And I'm going to say it. Listen, God is love. I have always, even before my walk with Christ, I've always just loved people. I see another human being when I see you. And when we were dealing with those young people, even the kids who had committed just some of the most wildest things, to us it was see the heart. Really look into their eyes. See, I got a story. But when people look at me, they see one layer, one dimension. But my story, there's layers to me. I come from somewhere. We all come from somewhere. Our worldviews are all-encompassing everything, our culture, how we were raised, where we were raised, what we heard, the images that we saw. So please make those allowances when you're dealing with people. But you got some people, and I'm going to say, let's be responsible when we vote. Pay attention, keep your ear to the wall, because there are some people who are begging to come in and really help. But just like in certain places, in certain jobs, oh, you my boy, you cool, you my home girl, you whatever. But meanwhile, you're the worst possible fit for what needs to happen. Because at the end of the day, we got work to do, people. So what I'm saying is, please, let's all see where we hold responsibility. Look in the mirror and see, what is it that I need to do? What do I need to change? What is it that I need to say? Where do I fit? Because I'm frustrated. And last night when that hit Brooklyn, that hit my heart. And I'm not saying that it hit all the time, because that whole incident with that whole incident in Minnesota hit different. Yes, it did. Absolutely. Like I said, I've seen it for myself in my family. But I don't hold everybody responsible for what the officer did to my brother and to my brothers and different people in my family at different times. I hold them responsible, because we still have to move forward. We got to live in these neighborhoods, in these communities. We got to rise up out of the ashes. We got to move forward. We have to educate and empower our young people. Clergy, we have a responsibility, and it goes past Sunday service. We have a responsibility. Yeah, we're a part of the system. Our churches need to open those doors, open the ears, see clearly, hear clearly. We're supposed to see from a different lens. We need to stop staying quiet, clergy. So I'm calling everybody out. I'm calling the politicians, because some of these politicians that I'm talking about, these are legacies, and some of them are still in place. When we took our young people to a certain meeting that was supposed to be an anti-gang, trying to put a stop to the gang activity and the violence, and a certain female politician started bashing white people and officers, that's irresponsible. And my young people that were there, my teenagers were like, but Officer Cindy, what was this about? I thought you said this was at, and I'm going to say where it was at Restoration Plaza on Fulton Street in Brooklyn. Yep. And that certain female politician is still around. Yep. And certain ones that call my partner a white devil, Baron. Yep. That's his first name. Yep, right in front of my young people. That's irresponsible. Don't bring your personal trash to the job that you're supposed to be doing, because you're supposed to be effective in what you're doing. So if you want to hold people, if we want to start holding people accountable, let's hold everybody accountable. Let's hold the politicians accountable to leave their personal garbage at home. Inez and Barron and these different ones. I'm going to say it. It is what it is. These different ones who have been in power and been irresponsible, giving people bad information and leading people to the slaughter, leading people, like we used to say, K numbers. So now people got K numbers on their backs, on their records. Oh, but they told me they had my back. No, that was just publicity, baby. When my niece took her life back in 2008, that certain politician showed up to the house, okay, for a picture, a photo op, because it made news. And I was pissed because his wife was one of the ones that kicked us out of her school on DeKalb Avenue in Brooklyn. Said that we couldn't help. She didn't want us. She wanted different officers to respond. So what am I saying? Let's be responsible with our platforms. Let's be responsible with our authority. And I'm saying everybody. I'm saying politicians. I'm saying NYPD. I'm saying clergy. I'm saying citizens. I'm saying everybody has responsibility in this thing. Justice is justice across the board. That's what I'm about. I believe I am a woman of God first. I am a mother. I'm somebody's grandmother. I did wear that uniform for 20 years. I don't take it back. I'm praying for law enforcement. I'm praying for my brothers and sisters in blue. Like I said, when it hit Brooklyn, it hit home. It hit my heart. And it pissed me off. It pissed me off because so many good officers came through there. So many good officers. So many great officers. And I'm going to say this because I know some of them personally. Great people. People from the heart. And a lot of us grew up in those grew up out there. We grew up. A lot of us came from those places. Bed-Stuy, Crown Heights, Brownsville, East New York, all them Bushwick, all them parts. A lot of us came right from them surrounding areas. Lived in some of them projects. You think they don't feel that? You think that they stand on the side of injustice? You think that they go out there every day and say, I'm going to kill somebody today? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We're not that guy. They are not that guy. So I'm saying that we have to get past this point because there is going to be an after this moment that's going to come. But where does the true change happen? How does it happen? Because we can't just act like this didn't happen, all of this craziness, that a cop didn't get hit in the face with a brick yesterday, that I didn't see certain images yesterday, that things weren't set on fire, no matter who did them. What I'm saying is that after this, there's some building and rebuilding that has to happen. I have a granddaughter that lives in New York City, a 6-year-old granddaughter. And I don't want to have to say, oh, I'm leaving because there's nothing good for her here. I've seen a lot of good come out of these places. Places where they said it wasn't possible. Young people that they said wouldn't make it. Yes, they did. I've seen it for myself. The work has been put in. But there's still work to be done. So I'm saying, maybe you want to go back and that wheel that you thought you needed to reinvent, you may want to bring that back in. You may want to implement some of those things and stop acting like there's different divisions, that the schools are separate, NYPD is separate. We're all in our different little castles and different. No, it's a working together that needs to happen. Just like with CCAP, Reverend Detective Barbara Williams, clergy, community, and police. Basketball was cops and kids right there on that same court. And we used to go in. Vicky Bador was our PAL liaison. Vicky Bador is not black. Vicky Bador has a white face. And she went into all of these commands and all of these different places and all of these different gyms and these things. She had a heart. So yeah, I'm saying people's names because I believe in the work that they did. There was work that was laid down. There's a park named after a cop in Brooklyn. Ray Salgado Park, after a cop who put work in the neighborhood. So please, let's not say that no good has come out of these relationships. Like I said, I can speak for NYPD. I can speak for Brooklyn North specifically, a place where I grew up, where I was born, raised, and worked in, where I saw so much greatness come out of. So I needed to get that out. I won't hold y'all no more. But please, when you see our young people, see them, hear them, believe in them. They have so much to say. They want to be seen. They want to be heard. People please sit at the table. Go back to sitting at the table. Officials, make it happen. These people in power, make it happen. But people who feel disempowered, know that you have a place. You have a voice. You have a place. A reserved seat at the table for you. And there are officers, there are people in power who are willing to hear you. But be heard. Stop committing acts where it's going to be a continuous separation. You're not going to be heard that way. You're just not. You're not. Don't get arrested and then think, no. Please. You feel disempowered, I understand. You're frustrated, I understand. I felt frustrated when my brothers were disrespected. I get it. I was disrespected. keeping it 100, times that I got stopped and told that, oh, certain car that I was driving seemed suspicious. But we have to learn how to maneuver and deal with these situations. How do we comport ourselves? And we have to teach people this. So please, all I'm saying is, let's find ways where the after this can be even better, can be even more powerful. Implement things and promote true change. That's all I'm saying. And to my, Brooklyn North family, for those of you that are watching, and I'm talking like even my people that live in those areas and in those, this in my heart. Officers, stay strong, stay composed, be patient with the people. And my prayer is that everybody sees across those lines and sees people, that we walk in a level of humanity that can speak better for us and better serve us than what I've been seeing this week. Can true change come past this? Because there's going to be an after this. After the smoke clears. So I love you all. And I love you all. And my heart goes out to the family, George Floyd's family, and, the people who are grieving this thing. And I love you with the love of Christ. And that's about it. Thank you for those that decided to jump on this live with me. I appreciate you. And if you are a change maker, if you're somebody who is to implement change, be a voice. Your voice should be heard. Take your post. Like they used to tell us, hold your post. This is face-to-face posts. These are face-to-face. You can't leave your post till somebody else comes to sit in your place, because there's continuous work that needs to happen. People after this are going to grieve, but it needs to be done right. So, thank you again, guys. I'm out. Take a deep breath. And I love you all. And to my Latino gente, nosotros también somos responsables. So, you know what I'm saying? We are also responsible. We're not exempt. We're not the gray area. Okay? We're not the gray area. We don't sit back quietly. We have a responsibility in our respective places. Play your role. Do your thing. Stand your post. And I love you all. Mona, I appreciate you, girl. I love you. And keep being that positive, that positive influence that I see that you are on social media. I am so happy and so proud of you and your family. Gosh, I'm so, I love watching you. I love you and I appreciate you. Addie, my goodness, we go way back to 309. And I know you've always been a voice, and exactly. I received that, Addie. Stay strong. We can do this together. Our youth depend on us. And I know that some of the people watching are people who have been definite advocates for this thing, especially in Brooklyn North. And so we're going to rise up out of this. I believe that. And it's going to be better after this. Love y'all.